Hello, everybody, and welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Flynn. I'm very happy to be hosting today. We are live, so if you're watching on YouTube or Behance, jump into chat and say hello. We always love to hear where you are from, and it's always just nice to say hi. We've got Dark Hours Co. looking after us in chat as well, so if you've got any questions as we're going along, please pass them on. We'd love to help. And by we, I mean me and Sophie. That accidentally rhymed.
That was great.
That's it. A bit better than yesterday. I had the wrong.
Such a poet.
I had the wrong thumbnail, and yeah, I was tongue-tied on my words. But welcome back, Sophie. It was good enough that you did come back. We didn't scare you off with my terrible hosting.
Never.
So okay, sure. We live to stream another day. But yes, we are back. And if you missed yesterday, it was a fantastic stream. We'll share a link to that in chat. But yeah, just always fun learning kind of the basics and then some kind of, learning together as well. There was one of my favorite things that happens on Adobe Live where something behaves in a way that maybe we weren't expecting. And then it's like a little bit of a solving a problem together. My favorite thing, because it happens to all of us, even someone like Sophie, who is so good at what she does. So that's always fun for me.
Oh yeah, it's always great when the thing that you've never seen happen before happens while you're streaming.
Well, live. Yeah, probably a little bit more stressful for the guest, perhaps. I'm like, yes, but
Let's
no.
see how she handles this one.
Yeah. Well, it happens to me every day as someone that's in front of their computer for like 8 hours a day, and I still, we all struggle. So it's good to see those things pop up sometimes and solved on the fly. But hey, enough from me. We've called this mixed media this session, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it as we segue across, and I can share your screen whenever you're ready as well.
Yeah. So it's a pretty loose term, I guess, mixed media animation. The way I kind of mean it is we're not just doing a digital thing. We're kind of adding some handcrafted elements into it. So whether that's just with drawing, and that can still be digital drawing, or if we're kind of taking it offline, taking it into an analog space and maybe like kicking it a little bit old school, and just folding through more of that sort of human handmade flavor into things. So that's kind of loosely what I mean by mixed media. I can show you a couple of examples that I kind of
Let's check it out.
collected to sort of illustrate this a little bit more. So I guess the sort of overarching theme with this one's made with paper. So each one of these frames is cut out of paper and then photographed. That's my hand, and then I've done a bit of drawing back over the top of it. Maybe it's busting out a bit of clay.
Yeah.
Like kind of dabbling in a bit of claymation. Again, this has like a layer of drawing over the top, so still kind of taking the digital element into it.
That's really cool. That's so cool.
This is one of my more recent ones, and this is all drawn by hand. So I think it was 60 individual drawings that I did to pull this one together.
Wow.
The animations themselves, like if we looked at the digital animations of these, they're quite simple. There's nothing particularly tricky about it. I guess the sort of the more impressive side of the things is rendering all of that by hand, because there's quite a lot of work in that.
And so are they cutouts like this one? That was my question. Did you cut the letters out?
This one is just drawn.
Right.
So, yeah, Sharpie on paper.
Right. Okay.
Every single one.
So it's multiple pieces of paper. So every different frame, every different. It's
60 pieces of paper.
Right.
60 different drawings, and every photo is a different one of those that's been swapped out as my hands kind of move around.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you do it digitally? Sorry if I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but did you do it?
No, that's okay.
Did you do it digitally first? Like, did you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, stop me if you're going to show it later, and I'm jumping ahead. I'm very curious about it. That's all.
No, that's a great question, and it's kind of the theme of today's stream, I guess, is that we're going to start with the digital animation and use it as a base to kind of build on and see what else we can kind of add into it.
Cool.
There's a few other examples here that are kind of a similar vein. This one is like these letters have just been cut out once, but the animation is then moving across the page. So that's like a little bit simpler. This one is where it's sinking into the page. That's me cutting the paper off bit by bit, so it looks as if it's sinking into the page. So there's lots of different little, like pretty straightforward techniques you can use to achieve these sorts of effects. This one, again, these are all cut out of paper. It's maybe only a dozen or so frames though. So not quite as complex as it maybe appears, but when you kind of realize, I think having the hand in there really helps you kind of place it in an analog space as well. Like, this is a real object, here I am holding it, look at the texture, look at the shadows. It's not perfect, but it's real, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And I really enjoy an animation that's kind of triggered by hand movement as well, because I think it does help you kind of smoke and mirrors that analog digital kind of push-pull a little bit. This one is a little bit different. Started digitally and then I've kind of masked it into the analog thing. So it is cut out of paper and I only cut it out once and I didn't actually animate the paper, but I have animated the digital drawing and then kind of blurred it so that it turns into the real thing.
Right.
It's kind of nice to play around with that as well. And then again, this is like a pretty simple, I think there's only maybe 3 or 4 frames for each letter. So it's not terribly complex, but it's just a really charming, you know, had we done this digitally, it would have been fine. But seeing it with paper and with these shadows and the glitter kind of moves a little bit, just brings something, like sort of takes it to another level.
I like the N and the R. We're just like, you know what? I don't need to cut that triangle out.
Yeah.
But it so works. It's like, it's awesome in the middle of the O.
This one was before I got a cutting machine.
Right.
So
yeah.
I did actually cut this out by hand. And it's so funny that you spot that, because that was 100% my thought process. I'm like, I'm not cutting out the counters.
Yeah. It's great. It's cool. It's an aesthetic choice. It's an aesthetic choice. Yeah. I think I did it yesterday on the stream. I was trying to say a word that was complicated and I just replaced it with a 3-letter word that I knew really easily.
And look, we got through it.
You get through it. It's fine. You guys get it.
I knew what you meant. So yeah, these are some different examples of ways to do that. And there's quite a lot of work involved in these sorts of things, which is why we kind of can't go through in real-time speed the way that I work for these things. But I think we'll still go through the process and I can kind of talk you through how they come together.
Yeah, I'm just going to interrupt you just for 1 second, just because we have a question. The question is... hi, Title Safe. Are you using Dragon Frame or does the pre-production allow you to just capture straight with the camera? I think we're going to find out the process now. No, I don't think that Sophie's using Dragon Frame. I think it's going to be Illustrator and maybe some After Effects.
Yeah. I have thought about Dragon Frame for a long time. And I know people who use it, and I think it's really handy if you're doing longer form animations or things that need to be like super duper precise.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll get into it. But I've kind of managed a few workarounds that, you know, I can kind of solve a lot of the problems that it helps with in post-production and in pre-production as well. So kind of making sure all of my frames are locked in before I do the analog side of things, and then doing a bit of tweaking if it's not quite right in the post-production.
Nice.
But yeah, if anyone has used it and has any sort of recommendations, I'd be interested in hearing it.
There you go. Cool.
So maybe let's jump over into After Effects and just have a quick look. So all of these animations relate to what we looked at yesterday in our stream. So I'll just give you a quick a quick little preview. I've done 3 more animations, but using the same techniques. So, and we're still in that sort of comic book onomatopoeia place that we were playing in yesterday. So this one is using the echo effects in a slightly different way. Instead of them kind of doing the little sort of wavy zigzag that we did yesterday, they're just doing a scattergun and then shumping back in to the middle. So that's one animation, and that looks cool, but we can make it cooler.
That's my challenge. Sorry, just to interrupt as well. Like I see something, and we've done this before, and I do this with illustrators as well. They kind of do their rough lines, and then they do their outlines, and I'm like, "You're done. I'd call it a day." Like that's, and obviously, like this, it's like this. You're like, we can make it better. Like we can, tweak it and do all this extra stuff. I would find it very difficult to kind of keep pushing the design and keep pushing it to make it even more special. Anyway, maybe that's the completionist in me. I want things to get done.
That's a very real thing as well. And sometimes you do just want to be finished and quick and efficient. This is maybe a nice little segue into a reference that I wanted to share with you. This is an artist, Tomohiro Okazaki, who I've been following for ages. I don't know anything about him other than that all he animates are matchsticks. Like every day he has a different animation featuring a matchstick.
Oh, wow.
It's literally the only thing of his that I've seen, but he has a million different versions of types of animations centered around matchsticks. I don't know why that's their thing. But I'm kind of obsessed with it. I kind of love that they've taken this one tiny object and are looking at it from 360 degrees.
Right.
Turning it inside out, turning it upside down. You could just be like, okay, I made the matchstick animation, I'm going to move on to something else. But, they're like, no, I'm gonna make 7 million other animations featuring the matchstick. Like, I just love this sort of approach to work.
Yeah, it's metaphoric, I think, for creative fields, right? Like you sort of think, I know with graphic design, someone sort of might say, well, all the good ideas have been done before, and but they haven't. Like, and then someone does something that is unique in a space, or just does something that no one's ever done before, and you go, oh, they are there. The ideas are there, but you have to sort of push it. And I mean,
100%.
Look how many animations this person has done.
This, I don't know. I've never scrolled to the bottom of this feed, but there's so many of these, and they're all like, some of them you can kind of see like they'll go in themes. Like this box is sort of appearing in this little cluster, and then there's like these eyeball. Like there's sort of a journey, but the matchstick is always in there somewhere.
Wow.
And I just love that. Anyway, a bit of a sidebar. This is not what we're doing, but I just really love this this approach to work, and I think that's a little bit kind of where I'm coming from today with this. So maybe we'll start with this one. So before we get too analog, like I said, this is the echo effect we went through yesterday. It's really simple technique for getting 3D look and feel into your 2D animations. But it's very flat in this instance. It's a cool animation, but it's very flat. And so what I have done is I have exported all of those individual frames as separate image files. This animation was set at 12 frames per second too. So I've got, I don't know, how many do I have here? I think it's like 19. I've got 19 frames here in total. And I have brought those into Photoshop. And this is here's one I prepared earlier, but these are the these are the frames here.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have kind of just traced over the top of them with 2 separate layers. So I've got my my sort of block lettering on the front, and I've got my 3D sort of texture on a separate layer, just in case I want to change the colors separately. But I have, kind of traced over it. I've been pretty true to the front layer, keeping that nice and blocked. But I want to bring some texture and some of that hand-drawn feel into that kind of trail that's happening behind it. And you could do that in After Effects. You could spend quite a lot of time, trying to layer in textures and adding, roughen filters and trying to fold layer upon layer of something that will emulate this. Or you could just do this. You could just, spend a couple hours drawing it, and now you have this animation that feels way more textured and dynamic and kind of exciting, because you've got all this beautiful texture. And if I just pause on one of these frames, just trying to render something like this in After Effects would take so long. But it's literally a scribble. I can do that really quickly. And I can add in all these like little dots and lines and things that also just kind of brighten it a little bit and really lift it off the page, give it way more energy than it had before. So yeah, this is kind of my step one. Like, if I'm not feeling it in After Effects, let me bring it into Photoshop and see if I can inject some texture and some sort of hand-drawn characteristics into it. And I really love this. Like, I think it's hard to compare because I didn't actually add any color into this one, so it's not really a fair comparison. But in terms of if we're, just looking at texture and motion, for me, this is leagues ahead.
Right. It's a different kind of vibe. Like, sometimes you might need something that's quite clean. And
absolutely.
obviously as well. So there's like a use case for each.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Like, if you're making a gift sticker or something, having all this texture is really difficult to work with. So yeah, in that sort of case, or if it's going to be really small sizes, you're not going to see the texture at all. It's not really worth doing it. So it is, really dependent on the end use. But yeah, if we were looking at something at this kind of scale, to me, this just feels like way more interesting to look at. So that's our kind of tried bringing it into Photoshop, draw it by hand there sort of step.
That's really cool. And did you, in that case, you could kind of do it in any way. Sorry, I just guessing that you probably used a stylus of some kind, like a tablet, to draw that, but you wouldn't have to do it that way either. Like, if there's probably some techniques that you could do just to, you could draw an outline of the box, or you could kind of draw something, and like, there's other effects in Photoshop you could do to make it look different in the end. If you didn't have access to that stuff.
Yeah. There's a million different sort of brushes and effects and things in here that you don't necessarily have in After Effects too. So just kind of bringing it into a different space opens up a whole other portal of possibilities, which is kind of cool to play with. Let's jump back into After Effects. So the second animation that I want to look at. This is based off our...
That was my favorite one yesterday, for sure. I was thinking about it. That's really cool. I just shared a link as well, by the way. If you're watching live or on the replay on YouTube, there's a link there that'll take you to Sophie's stream yesterday, which went into a lot more depth of literally step-by-step how to do this sort of thing. Don't watch it now. Stay here. Hang out with us. But watch it later.
And they're all really easy too. I just want to say that as well. Like, none of these are like advanced level. Like, this is, you've never used After Effects before. This is very, very achievable and not too difficult if you just like follow the steps. But there's lots of fun to be had playing with this sort of 3D rotation effect. So again, this is kind of cool as is. There's a lot going on, and like you say, maybe you do need something that's kind of clean and vector, and this is perfect for that. But having just looked at this animation, in my head, I'm like, well, this is cool, but what if I did something like this on paper? So instead of having this super crisp, clean background, and instead of having these still quite clean lines here and very flat colors, what if I export my frames once again. So if we go into it, my filing here is so silly. Actually, I don't think I even did export those frames, because you know what I did? I just used my monitor as a light box. World's most expensive light box. But I basically...
oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, cut out some paper, stuck it over the top of my drawing here and traced over it.
I mean, why put an extra step in the middle? Like, why? Like, I love that. I love that so much. I saw someone the other day. I'm in a videography Reddit, of course I am. And there was someone that had strapped, they had two phones, and they had one horizontal and they had one vertical, and they'd like strapped them together, and they were holding them both, and they were filming social media content. And people just like, you know what? That's actually genius. Have all these issues of like shooting things in portrait and landscape, and they were just shooting it like someone dancing, and everyone was just like, why have we not thought of this? Like, you get almost the exact same angle, one person record, and that was it. But I love these. The reason I say that is because it sounds like, it sounds like, oh, like, you know, wow, what a wacky way to do it. But it's a genius way to do it. It is literally a light box. Like, it
was the quickest way.
Great.
I had it. I've got it here anyway. I took a bunch of process kind of shots here as well, just to kind of talk you through what I was doing. So first of all, I wanted some paper that had some texture, because why not? Like, if I'm doing paper anyway, it should have some texture. I actually couldn't find any, so I mixed up some paint in water in a spray bottle, and then I sprayed it over a bunch of different pieces of paper.
Awesome.
I just wanted like a little bit of like speckle kind of happening in the background, and that was just the fastest way I could do that. This is then cutting out all of the paper to the right size, and you can see it's a pretty subtle sort of effect, but it's definitely there. Like, and then this is me doing some color tests, trying to pick a color combo. One thing about doing,
Sorry, just a pre-show callback that had to be done. It's literally bees.
I didn't even click.
Oh, sorry.
We were talking about Arrested Development before, and bees came up, and it was a prophecy. You foretold this.
This is bees in front of me. Oh my God. Sorry.
No, that's so fine. When you're doing an analog thing, obviously you don't have the luxury of at the end of the project going, oh, I actually think I want that in blue, not green. So kind of important to spend a bit of time at the front end of the project picking colors. So that's what this is. I narrowed it down to a specific and had like a specific set of colors, and had to do a little chart and whatever else. Anyway, ended up picking this kind of pink and green combo. And so then this is my like computer screen, and me sticking the sheets directly over the top of my canvas in After Effects, and then going through and just tracing over the top.
That's awesome.
So it's a pretty kind of, I don't know, maybe not the smartest way to do this, but the fastest way for what I was doing.
Did you get any texture or anything like on your screen?
A little bit.
Okay.
But it comes off, so it's fine.
Okay, that's all good then. That's all good. That's great.
So then I did the pencil first, because I needed to go back over with the marker. I thought if I kind of overshoot, I can just cover it up with the marker. You can kind of see like there's like little areas where haven't colored in properly. But I think that's also part of it.
I was going to say that adds to the charm, right?
Yeah, I'm not trying too hard to make this perfect, because otherwise I would have just kept it in a digital space.
Yeah.
And then finishing off with the markers. I think I had maybe 30 frames for this one. So this was 30 different drawings, which is okay. I did this in like a half day or so, maybe.
Yeah.
This is all of the drawings together. So there's a few. You're probably already getting like a bit of a sense of where this is going to go. And then...
Was that photo taken after you'd already done everything? Because I'd be really concerned about them being out of order.
I numbered them.
Okay.
I numbered them on the back because I knew I would get confused.
Smart. Yeah. That's something that I would make a mistake doing for sure. I'd just be like, oh, this is for the gram. Oh, no.
I've made a huge mistake.
I've ruined my afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I numbered them very early on because I was wary of that exact problem happening.
Smart.
And then I just made myself like a little sort of masking tape area here on the floor to sit each frame in, just so like I didn't touch the camera. I was just like swapping out the different sheets to photograph them all reasonably close together. So that's that process. And now let's put the images together and see how that looks.
Nice. We got a question from chat. Little Ducky. How do you approach combining different media in a way that stays cohesive and visually engaging?
Oh, that's a big question.
So, Wallapa.
How do I make them visually engaging?
Yeah, I'll do it again. How do you approach combining different media in a way that stays cohesive and visually engaging?
Yeah. I mean, the cohesiveness thing probably just comes from like the common factor being you or me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's all coming from my hand, and if I'm drawn to it, it's probably for the same reason that I'm drawn to any other sort of thing in my work. Like there is a common visual language, even if the medium changes. In terms of visually engaging, I mean, that's another big question too, isn't it?
I mean, I would if I could, I would jump in and sort of say I think that like adding the more sort of depth that you add to a design generally without it being too messy and still being legible and everything, like kind of the more interesting it becomes. Like I would say that like adding texture and making it more hands-on almost inherently makes something visually more interesting than something that's digital, particularly at the moment when we're seeing a lot of AI stuff. And most things are digital and most things are pretty good. Like there was a time where art was vector and Adobe Illustrator, and people would just do like cell shading, vector-based flat artwork, and it was a trend because it was brand new and no one had seen it before. But because it was easy to do, it lost value. And so now it's something in the archives of you don't really do design with flat vectors. Generally, I'm just generalizing here. I'm talking posters and stuff. Like there were movie posters that were done in flat vector. Like, whereas I'm jumping on the question here, so interrupt if you want. But I would sort of say that we're flooded with very crisp visual, like digital, vector-based, web-based, SVG-based stuff. And then, like in this process, by adding texture and adding the hands going over the top, and it's quick and punchy, and the texture on the paper and the kind of how did they do that kind of thing that you get from this, I think adds to the engagement. That's
I think that's kind of where I keep being drawn to lately as well. Like, I think I just appreciate it a bit more when I can see the hours that's gone into something.
Yeah.
When I'm like, because of the thing you say, like, there's so many, like, just press this button and now you have this thing, types of digital art that's all over the place. But I think seeing this type of thing where you can just tell that someone spent hours and hours pulling a thing together, you appreciate it more. You appreciate like the wonkiness, or at least I do anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's probably part of why I gravitated so much towards animation in the first place. The time in it and the kind of payoff at the end of this thing that maybe you'll just kind of scroll past because it's a few seconds, but I really do think you can tell when someone's spent the time on something, and you do feel that more. You have more of a connection with it. Yeah, I think I had a similar thing that you were talking about, where like I used to be really into the very precise, very clean, trying to make it look really perfect, minimal anchor points. Bezier handles have to be vertical, have to be horizontal kind of thing. Like it has to be perfect. But the more into my career I've got, the more I'm just like, actually, I like it when it's a bit messy. I like it when it's a bit wonky, when I can see that a human hand has played a part in this.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it has a bit more heart.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen other designers, creators go through that. It's a very similar process over the many years of being around as well. Like particularly illustrators and particularly, kind of more like visual designers.
Yeah, I was probably like a tale as old as time in terms of like any sort of art practice, right? Like you learn studying photorealism, or you try to draw something that's hyper realistic or whatever, and then the thing that actually becomes your thing is like a really naive, sketchy thing, or like you're kind of learning those rules, which is really important, but that's a different thing to finding a style. And
totally.
Yeah, it's a big conversation.
Totally. Wow. Like and subscribe our podcast. Jump on in with the D&Ms, the creative future and the messy middle, Sophie and Flyn's podcast. Anyway, back to it. Thank you, Sophie. That was a great answer. And it was a really good question. It's obviously something that we could talk about for a really long time, because it's yeah. There you go. Anyway,
yeah, totally.
Great question.
I have just brought all of my photos that I took into After Effects. I've just made them all one single frame, and I've set this composition to 12 frames per second. So that's kind of just my standard sort of stop motion frame by frame kind of frame rate. If I just highlight all of these, and I love After Effects for this, if I go sequence layers and just don't tick overlap, it's just gonna stack them like that really nicely for me.
Oh, okay. Was that just from everything you imported?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Oh, have I done this thing that I did yesterday where I've resized this to the wrong?
No, it looks good to me.
You think I would have learnt. Just trying to get to the end of my little timeline thingy.
Ah, I see. Yep.
Okay. So let me bring this in. Where are we ending? We're landing about here. Oops.
What is that thing, by the way? That's if you just play it, that just loops. That's what that bar is meant to do. That's like what your working space is.
Oh, this little guy here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the work area.
Yeah.
So, it'll just play whatever is inside that.
Yeah.
So your composition can still be longer than it, but if you're just focusing on one little area and you don't want to have to sort of wait for it to play the whole thing, you can just bring that in.
That's why it's separate. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Let me do this again real quick. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. I think because I changed the frame rate after I brought in the images, it was a little bit funky, but that's okay. Okay, moment of truth. Let that render for a sec.
Nice.
Cute.
It's really cool. I love it.
I'm so stoked with that. Let's have a look at our other boing for comparison. So we've still got the same motion. Again, an unfair comparison because I haven't added any color into this, so it looks very drab.
Right.
But
you're like those like TV shows where they're kind of like trying to open a can of beans with a normal can opening. Like, what? Oh, they get beans all over the kitchen. It's got to be an easier way.
Homer trying to juice an orange on his forehead.
That's right. Oh, oh, that's exactly right.
You mean there's an easier way?
Oh,
um,
perfect.
yeah, it's got real infomercial energy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Um, this is without any sort of editing here. Like this is just straight out of the camera. And again, I didn't shoot this with any lights. I shot it at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so the light was fading fast. You can kind of see that towards the end it gets a little bit darker. But these are the types of things we can fix really easily in post-production. I can add some adjustment layers. I can lighten this. I'll probably boost the saturation a little bit too, because lilac is a really hard color to photograph. It sort of just deadens a bit in photos. Like it tends to go just kind of a washed out gray. So I will give that a bit of a boost. But I just feel like this has so much life and energy, and I kind of love that the paper's like a little bit creased as well. I love that these spots are kind of dancing around the frame a bit. Yeah, I just feel
there's a lot
like,
going on.
you know, sure, it took half a day to do.
It's like
But
animating
this is
in
what I
hard
do with my
mode.
free will.
Yeah.
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 And it would have taken even longer if I hadn't started here as well. Like this is a really important part of the process too. It's just kind of, it's not roughing out the frames because it's like, it's the exact frames. It's like storyboarding every single shot kind of thing. But I think having done that process makes this process much easier and much more enjoyable because it's taking the guesswork out of it. I already know that when I comp it together, I'm going to get this smooth motion. The surprise is in all of this texture and, you know, the really tactile nature of the pencil marks on the paper and the splatter and the light and the shadows and all of those like things that would be near impossible to machine generate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
awesome.
That's that little guy.
I love that little guy. Hey, we got a question. So it feels like a good time for a question from Scoops.
Oh.
Do you have any recommended projects where people can give a try to practice and learn as they go for Adobe Animate or Adobe After Effects? So I guess any kind of yourself, someone else maybe that like beginner projects for someone trying to get into animation. Do you have any go-to stuff if people ask you that question?
Can I spruik our past Adobe lives?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because we've done heaps of, and they're all like kind of gentle, pretty simple beginner type things. Like I know it can feel like a bit of an overwhelming piece of software to get into, but a lot of things overlap with Illustrator, a lot of things overlap with Photoshop. They talk to each other really nicely too. Like if you do animation in Photoshop, you can bring that into After Effects and like tinker with it there. Or like just start with yesterday's one. That's a nice recent one.
I was going to say, yesterday's was quite short and sweet as well. There's probably one or two like kind of a little bits of assumed knowledge with Illustrator, I think. But other than that, everything in After Effects was done. And the only assumed stuff in Illustrator would just probably be learn how to, you have to know how to make a new layer from your asset. I think that was the main thing, just to import it into After Effects. But that's something you could Google as well, just the details if you didn't know that. I'm a dum-dum, and I feel like I could follow that, what we did yesterday. Yeah. So there you go. There's some stuff. I'd also check out, also friend of the show, there's a guy called Ben Marriott, if you want to look up. I know that he has some beginner stuff for After Effects that's very popular. He's an Australian guy, been on Adobe Live a lot, but not for a long time. He's too famous now, and he's got some beginner stuff as well that's free. So you can check out his YouTube channel. I'll find a link to that too. So if you're just getting started, definitely check out yesterday's Adobe Live. There's a link above, or you could search Sophie Elinor at Adobe Live. Pretty much everything we've done, I think, Sophie, has been pretty beginner friendly, and you can just kind of go through and choose. And there's some more in-depth stuff, I think, that we did maybe a year or two ago that's still relevant today. That's part 1, part 2. So if you wanted to kind of, you know, we probably cover, I assume we would have covered quite a lot of, you know, details and things like that. But there you go. There's a couple of places you can start for free.
while you were chatting there, I've just put an adjustment layer over the top of this and just done some real quick, just like sort of boosted the colors. I've deepened that green a little bit because it was looking a tiny bit washed out. Like if I toggle between on and off, you can see that that's like made quite a big difference to the overall animation there. And again, this is like a really nice thing to be able to do in the post-production side of things, that I can kind of fudge my way through not having a proper photo studio or lighting or anything like that. I can tweak that stuff at the other end. The last animation that I wanted to whiz through, and this is a bit of an experiment for me, but this is the same sort of, what was it? The repeat effect that we did yesterday. That was the first one we looked at. So I've done a little animation here of that. I have exported all of those frames into separate files, and then I cut all those frames out of paper. So it's more similar to the earlier examples we were looking at. I think I've got a little bit of process here too. So yeah, this is the setup, just kind of chucking it in the old cutting machine. And then the token shot of the peel, because who doesn't love the the peel reveal. This is, you can see how fiddly this is. This is quite a delicate and detailed design. So had to go a little bit easy, kind of pulling the pieces out to make sure that I didn't break anything in the process.
How many times do you have to go through this for it to, like, is it common that it breaks, or are you pretty good at it now that it's rare that something breaks?
Every time I go to do something like this, I go, oh, this will probably take an hour. And then 4 hours later, I'm tearing my hair out because the paper didn't work, or I've ripped it, or some other thing. So it always takes longer than I think. But yeah, these are the frames that I sort of ended up with.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, right? Like, it's
Love
just
that.
cool seeing it in the flesh. But I designed this to be kind of like outline hollow, because I wanted to photograph. I had this idea. So if I could photograph holding it up and you could see through it, kind of thing. And I wanted to, with each frame, like take the photo and then move forward and take a photo so that the background kind of moved towards you as the animation was doing its sort of whoosh thing.
Yeah, cool.
This is, like I said, I've never done this before. I'm kind of making this up as I go along, but I was like, okay, well, I'll measure out my distances on the lounge room floor so I have the right distance to kind of move my camera with each time. And then this is me trying to shoot it. So I'm just holding it in front of the camera like this, and then I'm getting the photo and then moving the camera forward and swapping out the next frame. So I think there were 10 frames total in this animation. I also realized that after I stuck down the masking tape, it was in all the shots, so I had to move the masking tape to the side.
All right.
Stupid.
That's classic. Doing something like that and then realizing, oh no.
Yeah.
That's great. Also, shout out to the like a version poster up the back. I saw that.
Oh, yeah. You didn't see that. Let me now bring those files in and let's see what that is looking like. So in my whoosh, I had a couple of runs at this because, again, I tried doing this at the end of the day when the light was fading, and it is not the best time to be doing that sort of thing. But
we did have a comment, beautiful light in your place as well from chat. So there you go. Got a comment about the beautiful light. I mean, you got to keep all that greenery alive somehow.
Yeah.
It's a forest.
Sometimes I don't.
Yeah, it happens.
Sometimes it does just die, and you know, you just got to swap them out. Okay, so we're set at 12 frames per second again here. That's good. And I will, I don't know, 5 seconds is probably too long, but let's just make it that and have a look at what we've got. So again, just highlighting from the top and right clicking, keyframe assistant, sequence layers, and that'll just, I probably could have done that manually. There's only 10 frames, but anyway.
Yeah.
And bring this playhead in, bring that work area in. And I think this is going to be a little bit janky, but I think we can kind of make this work. Okay, so
cool.
There's a bit of something happening there. I guess this is where something like Dragon Frame probably would have been quite useful, because I could have looked at my previous image and lined it up exactly. But again, I feel like we can kind of fudge this. I'm gonna bring my top layer across this whole composition here, and I'm just gonna, this is kind of just like a manual onion skin that I'm doing here.
Oh, right, yep.
And maybe I'll just make that a little bit bigger too, so that when I go to my next frame, I can try and line that up a little bit better. And I'll just lock that too so I don't accidentally move it. I kind of want, if we look at the reference animation here, this is my kind of constant point in the bottom corner of that W. It remains in the same position. So I'm going to use that as my reference. And like it might involve a little bit of scaling and a little bit of rotation as well. But we've only got 10 frames, so I feel like we can kind of get this to a point where it looks half decent, maybe.
It's really interesting having like a particular spot as your point of reference to line up. That's a pretty clever thing to do.
Yeah. Sort of a happy accident, but I'll take it.
Take the win.
Wasn't exactly what I was like setting out to do, but it is definitely helpful. So I will.
You're a genius.
I will use it for sure.
No, you're a genius.
The other thing that I will note here is that I designed this so that the letters are all touching, so that it could be one piece of paper. This would have been a nightmare to try and do with 5 different pieces of, like I just couldn't have done it this way with 5 different pieces of paper. And actually with all of these animations we've looked at today, they've started as pretty simple typography. Like the lettering itself is not complicated at all. I've deliberately kept it quite simple because I know that in the process of adding my human hand into it, it will kind of be scuffed up a little bit. So I kind of know that when I'm working towards that, I can be a little bit, like I can sort of shortcut the lettering side of things, if that makes sense. I don't have to spend too long making all of this really handcrafted, where, you know, when we look at the lettering that we started with yesterday, because I knew we were staying in a digital space, I spent the time at the start making everything quite hand-drawn and illustrative, because the digital animation process was not going to bring much of that to the party.
I was just thinking, you know, this would make a really good OK Go
Well, that is the nicest compliment anyone's ever given me.
They would love it. Like if you did, like imagine if you did every lyric, and you kill me because your hand would fall off if you tried to do it. But can you imagine if you did every lyric like this, but it was just like a stop motion, like going to their concert or something from your house? Like, can you imagine that?
Oh my God. If anyone would do such a thing, definitely OK Go.
Yeah.
Did you see their latest video with all the disco mirroring and stuff?
No, I haven't.
You gotta watch it.
Oh, I will check it out. I'm a big fan, so.
It's incredible. Like, they got all sorts of robotics involved in this one, so a lot of their stuff is real crafty, like DIY. This was very like big budget, high production, but super cool though. Okay, I feel like we're kind of getting close here. um, the rotation of things has sort of thrown out like the window's a little bit off on an angle here.
Right.
But I think that's okay. Like I think if we watch, okay, that's feeling heaps better to me. You're now actually seeing this animation happening. Like the animation is really central. It's still moving around a little bit, but you can kind of see there's something going on here.
For sure.
And
it's a
then
huge difference, actually, I think, lining it up. Like, I don't think you could really see it, that it was animating. Maybe, I guess it's probably
there was too much else going on in the background.
Exactly.
Which was sort of my concern with doing this. But I think, like, maybe if we zoom in so we're a bit less distracted by what's happening in the background there.
Yeah.
Like,
cool.
even though the hand is moving a little, it's not completely straight. I do think you still definitely get that motion happening.
For sure.
And I think if we just crop in a little bit tighter too, so we're not getting this, like, these sort of edges here where things are not quite going to the end of the page. What do I want to do here? Maybe I want to pre-crop? Is that the easiest way to do this? Yeah.
Oh, so you just pre-comp it and then you can just enlarge it all in one go.
Yeah, if I select the layers and scale them, it's gonna throw out all of the alignment we just did.
Yeah. Cool.
But that feels really cool to me.
So
I kind of love how you can see through it. It's not perfect, but it's certainly got a lot more life. Again, unfair comparison. But it's taking this really simple, bones of this animation and giving it a whole new life and a whole new sort of perspective, kind of just going back to that matchstick thing of like, yeah, we started with this, but like, what if we turn it around? What if we make it out of some other material? What if we don't just photograph it flat, but what if we hold it up and then there's like background animation happening as well? And, the human hand, all of these things that, if I had come across this online, I'd watch this for ages and I'd be like, how did they do that?
Yeah, totally.
What's the process here? And I think that's really cool. I think that's kind of, a good outcome if that's the feeling you get. Like if it sort of sparks that curiosity, then that's a win.
Totally agree. I love it. It's so cool. I keep thinking it's a film clip. Like it's the beginning of like, I do. I really do.
I'm going to get it onto OK Go's people immediately and
just flick them this live stream, happen. I'm sure they're in the chat.
If anyone listening knows, if they are watching right now, hey, I love you. Can I come work with you?
Big fan. Well, there was also a question, so we have a minute or two, so we'll sort of finish with this question. That was amazing, Sophie. Thank you for everything. But final question. As a digital and interactive media student, I'm curious, where does Sophie usually get her ideas for mixed media animations?
All over the place. Sometimes it's going to the chemist. Sometimes it's listening to a song. Sometimes it's just like going for a walk and something pops in. These ideas, and from yesterday's stream as well, were inspired by comic books.
Right.
And kind of cartoons, like that onomatopoeia was where that sort of started from. But, because I've done a lot of work in more sort of craft spaces, I'm always trying to find a way to like put me into that idea a little bit, like what does that idea look like in Sophie land sort of thing. And how can I push it? How can I like take that sort of matchstick theory and flip it on its head or turn it inside out? Or I think it's just being very curious about lots of things, and spending way too long seeing if an idea works. I don't think this one is particularly like I could polish this more. I could maybe try and shoot it a couple more times and see if I can get that looking a little bit cleaner. But I think for the first pass at something like this, I'm kind of happy with it. I feel like it's
And you could do that as well and polish it and refine it, or you could move on to kind of the next idea, right? Like I think time is such an important thing. It's like obviously you could polish it, you could get it perfect back, or maybe if I shot it this way, I might do this different. I might shoot it in a different way. I might bring in a studio light or whatever it might be. I might try it outside in the middle of the day. I might wait till an overcast day, all that sort of stuff. Or you can kind of move on to the other idea. I'm sure you've got lots of stuff you want to try out, and like, you know, these things take so much time.
This has definitely awakened. This has awakened something in me for sure.
Oh my gosh, we're almost out of time. Sophie, thank you so much. We always have a blast. This is amazing. What a fantastic session. Thank you everybody in chat for all the questions and comments and things like that. Really great. Makes it a fun stream for everybody. So we're just going to have to do it again sometime soon, Sophie. It's always a pleasure having you on Adobe Live.
I would love that. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back in 3 minutes with Annika and some Adobe Express. Yes, that's right. Adobe Express. After Effects, Adobe Express. I always get them mixed up. Toodles. Bye, everyone. Bye, Sophie.
Bye.